So why everybody has the same strategy, I think it makes the game boring.
The NBA has a huge problem. Last year's NBA Finals generated an abysmal 11.3 million in viewership, dropping by a staggering 38% compared to the 2010 NBA Finals, as the two future faces of the league, Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic, faced off for the first time. What do people believe is the catalyst of this huge drop? The uncontrollable surge of three-pointers. And there's one man who's taking the blame: Stephen Wardell Curry. But did Curry really ruin the NBA? The league's declining. NBA fans are fast pointing fingers, and they are blaming one man, Stephen Curry, the man who single-handedly ruined the NBA. First, let's go back where it all started. In the 2012 to 2013 season, at just 23 years old, Stephen Curry broke the NBA record for the most threes made in a season, with 272. Back then, this wasn't seen as revolutionary. You see, Ray Allen once held the record when he made 269 threes in a single season. The difference wasn't much, but the league started to notice how different this young guy named Stephen Curry played. For the years to come, Stephen Curry continued his hot streak, pouring in three-pointers and making it his bread and butter. The league has seen numerous sharpshooters in the course of history, but none of them make baskets like Wardell. Well, none of them shoots faster. But you see, in the early 2000s and 10s, there's one narrative that spreads throughout the NBA, that shooting alone can't win championships. Just take a look at Charles Barkley's infamous take back in 2015. There are teams you like to play and teams you don't want to play. Teams are never afraid of a jump shooting finesse team. That's not a knock. They're just a finesse team. We all know what happened next. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors quickly changed the narrative. Jump shooting teams were the future. Even Chuck had to admit it. With the Golden State Warriors' success and Steph Curry's ridiculous 2015 to 2016 season, where he buried 402 threes to absolutely obliterate the three-point record, all 29 other teams took notice. Since Golden State won the chip in 2015, the average three-point attempt per game has risen year after year, and it's still growing up until today. In 2014, the average three-point attempts per game was 22.4. In 2024, the attempts ballooned to a whopping 37.6. Teams desperately tried to replicate what Golden State did in 2014 to 2019 when they went to 5 straight NBA Finals, winning 3 championships. The Warriors were so ahead of its time, 29 other teams were scrambling to catch up. And in the 2024 to 2025 season alone, the Boston Celtics attempted a mind-boggling 48.2 threes a game. Yeah, 48.2, more than double, 11 years ago. Even the All-Star game was plagued by the three-point epidemic. It was just a whole game of three-point shootout. And well, fans are starting to get tired of the product. And it's easy to blame three-pointers. And who else started the revolution other than the chef himself, Stephen Curry? But was Curry really the reason the NBA viewership has taken a nosedive? Experimenting with the three-ball was a thing many teams have tried exploiting. Guys like Kyle Korver, Reggie Miller, and Ray Allen built their legacies on perimeter shooting. Even before Curry took his first NBA shot in 2009, teams like the 2007 Phoenix Suns and the 7 seconds or less offense under coach Mike D'Antoni were already experimenting with spacing, tempo, and, you guessed it, more threes. Curry didn't start the fire. He just poured gasoline on it and danced in the flames. No team had success experimenting on the three-ball because none of those teams have a perennial sharp shooter like Wardell. Well, if Stephen Curry was the reason why the NBA was in deep shambles, explain this. The Christmas Day game between the Warriors and the Lakers in 2024 is the most watched regular season game since 2019. Curry is moving money. And yeah, in the 21st century, 3 of the largest NBA Finals viewership came from the 2015 to 2017 NBA Finals, with an average of a whopping 20 million views. And who was the superstar, the must-watch player right there? Stephen Curry. But yeah, it was because of LeBron. In 2014, the NBA Finals averaged only 15.5, the lowest since Lakers versus Magic. In the last 5 years, since the bubble, the finals matchup between the Warriors and Celtics in 2022 gathered the most viewership of any NBA Finals series. And take this. Coaches began designing offenses that prioritized the three-point shot. Not because it fit their personnel, but because that's what the numbers said was efficient. Ray Allen, the former three-point king, wasn't a fan of how the game is being played. We got players who were willing to pass up a wide-open layup and pass it beyond the arc. The low-IQ NBA players who were trying their hardest to be Steph, chucking up contested threes instead of moving away from the ball. Even Steph gotta recognize how some of these NBA players just launching 3 balls for fun.
I did not say shoot that
Public service
shot.
announcement.
There was one the other day, Isaiah Quigley took a shot in transition. I probably would have shot that shot, but I did not tell him to shoot that shot.
The rise in three-point attempts wasn't driven solely by Curry. It was also driven by the numbers. The crazy analytics departments across the league started crunching data and realized something simple. 3 is more than 2. Paul George said it best why the league has fallen in love with the 3 ball.
I mean, analytics kind of took over the game being played from, like, coaches want 3-pointers or they want to lay up or get to the free throw line. Like,
I think we've allowed science and analytics to have too much of a say in how we play this game. What makes basketball a beautiful game is on a given night, you can watch an Anthony Edwards and a James Harden compete against each other, and you watch 2 different styles of play clash, and they're being creative. They're doing things that you never seen before. They're recreating the game. And then when you put analytics into it,
A 35% three-point shot is mathematically more valuable than a 50% mid-range jumper. This epiphany didn't come from Curry. It came from statisticians, front offices, and a changing basketball philosophy. And the teams reacted fast. Suddenly, traditional big men were phased out unless they could stretch the floor. ESO-heavy scorers who thrived in the mid-range like Carmelo Anthony were seen as inefficient. Entire offensive systems were redesigned around pace, spacing, and, most of all, threes. Big men like Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic are only effective if they can space the floor. In the modern NBA, centers were now required to be efficient beyond the arc. Here's where the narrative gets tricky. A lot of fans complain that the modern NBA is unwatchable. Too many threes, not enough post play, no more mid-range artistry. It's just drive, kick, shoot, rinse, and repeat. And guess who they blame? Stephen Curry. But here's the thing, Curry isn't boring. The guy moves off ball like Reggie Miller, handles like Kyrie, and shoots like no one ever has. He's magnetic to watch. When Curry's on, the entire arena locks their eyes on one man and one man only. But did you know what's more boring? What really took the NBA into this deep sunken despair? Horrible officiating, foul baiting, millions worth of fines, and load management. Don't get me started with the endless flopping.
Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
Straight up.
The locker room was too too grown. And you had to have that work, and you had to really work on your shit. And it wasn't no, you was out 2-3 games, man. Your teammates, hey bro, what you doing tonight? You going? Nah, I can't go, man. My toenail off, man. I can't. Nah, bro, you can't even come in here and lead no niggas like that. You hear me? Real shit. You had, man, it was men leading men.
Nobody in this era has a mid-range.
You couldn't get, nobody.
Nobody in this era has a post game.
And the ones that do look amazing. Look at Shea. Shea got a mid-range.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's only like a few of them got.
That's what I'm saying, bro. 2 dribble, pull up.
Yeah, they don't.
Try to do it. Okay, young fella, if you hear me. And then y'all exhaust the ball. Y'all are dribbling the air out of the ball.
Right.
Y'all dribble the ball 100 times more than another nigga.
I would average 45 points in today's game if the way they play defense today, where you can't hand check, you can't contest shots, you got to come on the side. Jordan would have averaged 45, 50.
In today's game.
The point I was making is you allow great shooters freedom to roam, freedom with no hand check. You can't crowd me, and I got a clear sight at the rim, then it's going to be lights out, baby. But it's so hard to play defense in today's game because they allow the offense to go wherever they want.
And you know one other thing that's also affecting the NBA's viewership, what's really bringing them on their knees, costing them millions and millions of dollars? Illegal streaming sites. Ever heard of Stream East? Probably half or maybe more avid NBA watchers watch the games on some kind of illegal site instead of on national TV. It's just everywhere, and it's near impossible for the NBA to strike it down. And there's also loads of competitors out there for the NBA. In this digital age, there's just infinite amounts of social media content. Haven't watched a game? 5 minutes, and there are highlights on YouTube. The rise of Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple Plus, and other streaming platforms made it hard for the NBA to strike audiences with their ridiculous subscription packages. With the NBA too busy upping their prices on League Pass, why watch it for $25 a month if you can watch it for free? Maybe the NBA viewership had not gotten down. Maybe many fans just switched to these illegal sites, and the ticket prices of the games, oh boy, it's getting out of hand. Former NBA superstar Gilbert Arenas exposed how the modern NBA is just a big cash grab.
Expensive to watch games now. It used to be free.
You spending a lot. Too many.
You know how much League Pass costs?
League Pass, and you don't even get all the games.
You don't even get the games in your own city.
You don't get the Laker game.
Yeah, you don't even get your own teams and your city's games on League Pass.
The reason that is
get you some cable.
No, that now makes you buy cable too. So you got to buy cable for your own teams, and then you got to buy League Pass to get the League Pass stuff. So what ends up happening is the distribution of games now. They're harder to find.
Well, it also does not help that the whole NBA has gone too political. We got coaches left and right focusing on what the president is eating other than fixing their playbooks. Even the legendary coach Phil Jackson was too tired to watch the game because it's too political. These are the reasons why the NBA is in deep ruins, and it's not just the 3-ball. Let's face it, many old heads hate it, the soft techs and everything. Maybe we need more Isaiah Stewarts charging at superstars. It also does not help that all these superstars were just friendly all the time. Like what happened to the rivalries? You got Braun, down 7 in a playoff game, laughing with his opponent. Do you think Kobe or MJ would do that? Nah. The NBA has run out of narratives, drama, rivalries. It's just getting stale to watch. But let's be real. A lot of people are still here to watch the OGs play. KD, LeBron, and Curry. They still move money. You know what's the bigger problem? The lack of new, young, true superstars in the league. Can you really put the likes of Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards in the same stratosphere as LeBron and Curry? Heck no. Would you consider Wembanyama being a superstar on par with Kevin Durant in terms of popularity? Nah, there's no legit young superstar in the league right now. The closest might be Luka, but even him cannot be a greater star than Stephen Curry. So, did Stephen Curry ruin the NBA? Number, he elevated it. He showed us what's possible. He pushed the boundaries of skill and creativity. He forced defenses to evolve and coaches to innovate. Curry didn't ruin basketball, he just redefined it, and the rest of the world is still trying to catch up.